Why weren't Nessa Rose and Bach featured at all in the Wicked for Good trailer? I think I know why. Let's flow. I'm gonna be saying this a lot in my Wicked for Good videos, but spoiler alerts if you do not want to know what happens in the second part of the musical. We know they have a pretty big part in the first movie. We know that Bach is in love with Glinda, Glinda's in love with Fiyero, so Glinda encourages Bach to ask out Nessa Rose to kind of like push him to the side. Nessa falls in love with Bach, and then Bach is like kind of stuck in this awkward situation. The last we see of both of them is during the ending when Madame Morrible is making the announcement that Elphaba is now Wicked. Bach hears this from Shiz, and Nessa hears it from home, where her father, and Elphaba's father of course, has a heart attack because he's horrified at this whole thing, and she's obviously very upset. The reason I think that they don't show Nessa or Bach in the trailer at all is because the fate of both of them happens like pretty early on in the second act. We gotta go through how this all flows because it's so clever. The first we see of Nessa and Bach in the second act is Nessa as the governor of Munchkinland and Bach kind of as her servant. This is also when Elphaba confronts Nessa. Nessa gets so pissed at her and is like, where have you been this whole time? Why can't you just make me walk with your magic? So Elphaba's like, oh my god, great idea. Now that I have the Grimoire, I can do the spell and make you walk, and we can team up together and take down the wizard. So she does the spell on Nessa's shoes, turns them fiery red, and then Nessa is able to walk again, and that's how we get the red ruby slippers. Once Bach finds out that Nessa can walk, he's like, great, I am out of here. I'm going to confess my love to Glinda. You can fend for yourself now. So then Nessa's like, what the hell? Gets so mad at him, does a little spell in the Grimoire, which she obviously doesn't know how to actually read, orders to shrink his heart, and then that turns him into the Tin Man. Once he wakes up, Nessa tells him that Elphaba did it, so then he is holding out this like grudge against Elphaba for turning him into tin. And Bach ends up leading like the March of the Witch Hunters against Elphaba, but he does that all as tin, so they like can't really show that in the trailer. And the reason Nessa can't really be shown in the trailer is because I don't think she's gonna be in it very much after this happens. Those are simply like massive pieces to what happens in the story, so there is no way they could spoil that in the trailer by showing either of them in any of those circumstances.